Hello and welcome to Building Geek Cred, brought to you by the Werewolf and Borg. I'm your host, John DeCook, and on this episode, we're going to be unboxing Zombicide White Death. This is the third entry in the fantasy version of the game Zombicide. Let's take a look at what's inside of these boxes. So Zombicide White Death is the third entry in the highly successful fantasy version of Zombicide. There was Black Plague, funded about $4 million in its crowdfunding campaign. Green Horde brought in about 5, and White Death brought in about 3.8. And these are all just the numbers from the crowdfunding themselves, nothing in the pledge manager afterwards. A lot of people pledge at the $1 level or a low level, maybe just buy the first core box and then add more things on in the pledge manager. I don't know of a way to accurately get those numbers, but those three entries alone have combined for at least $12.8 million in funding. So very successful games. Now this one contains two core boxes. There was the White Death core box, which introduces some new mechanics, including walls to help prevent most of the zombies from getting in, although I believe the Khan Abomination can climb the walls. And there's also guards, and many of the characters, if not all of them, have a guard power available to them as one of their skills, which allows them to give actions to the guards and control these non-player characters to help out. Additionally, there is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover, which takes the turtles and turns them into Ronin-type samurai characters. They're dressed in very samurai-type garb, and it cast them against the Shredder and the Foot Clan in that game. It also includes a fifth turtle, which is kind of interesting to me, as well as Casey Jones, April O'Neil, and Splinter. So we're going to pop open the two shipping cartons that I got. We'll look at everything that's inside of there, but I only plan to open the two core boxes and show you what's inside of those. We'll get right to it. So this is the contents of two large shipping containers that I received. On the one side, you've got your core games. You've got White Death, the Ninja Turtles Timecrash. Additionally, there's an expansion called Eternal Empire, which I believe is a campaign setting. The bottom box here, Frozen Fortress, is all of the stretch goals that came at no additional charge as long as you bought the core set. On the other side, we have some smaller expansions. So we have a Crossfire pack, which includes crossbow guards and some other things. These zombies can climb walls, and they're also terracotta warriors, which is really cool to me. I'm looking forward to that. A set of divine beasts, 4 mythological beasts from Far Eastern mythologies. The Berserker Walkers, which are, again, walkers, the lowest and usually easiest to kill, but these have some additional impact in the game. Above that, we have expansions of additional player characters. The Warlords of the Rising Sun, the Middle Kingdom, Virtues of Bushido, which is basically the 7 Samurai, if you've ever seen the movie. On top of that, Celestial Knights, a 2-pack of Chang-Yi and Ho-Yu, and I apologize if I pronounce any of this wrong. A couple of other things that were available, and I did, of course, pick up, are the extra characters that go with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We have Miyamoto Usagi, otherwise known as Usagi Yojimbo, the Samurai Rabbit, and we have Jenica, who is a new turtle. It's a female turtle to play alongside of the other turtle characters. Additionally, there's a couple things that can bling out the game. There's 2 different sets of dice, a Frost version and a Jade version. And looking at these, the Frost are fairly consistent in color, but the Jade seem to vary pretty wildly depending on whether you got a lighter green or a darker green as the majority of it. So 5 of these are a really dark green swirl, one's a very light green with just a little bit of green swirled in it. A couple other things to help bling out your game. Since there are walls in this, they did provide an option for a 3D battlement pack. So you can go ahead and actually have 3-dimensional walls sitting on your board, which is kind of cool. They did that in Green Horde as well. They provided some battlements in terms of hedges and in terms of kind of spiked barriers that you could set up. There is, as usual for these games, a plastic token pack. So you can replace the spawn tokens, noise, everything that you need to play the game and mark the board come in here. And there's a lot of tokens. Absolutely not necessary to play the game, but they're just so nice and they give it a premium feel, so I always pick those up. Last thing that was included is a crossover with Massive Darkness Part 2. So you can actually take the player characters from the core box, I believe all the Ninja Turtles as well, some of the others, and several of the monsters, and you can put them into Massive Darkness 2, just in case you didn't have enough content for that game yet. They did yet another crossover. So if you do have Massive Darkness 2, another game by CMON Games, great game, great dungeon crawler. They've just given you some more options for player characters and for monsters to include, give you a little better variety. So with that said, we're going to take a minute to open the White Death box and open the Timecrash box, and we'll see what's inside of those. This is the Zombicide White Death core box, and as you can see, very nice evocative art on the front like we always see from CMON. Notice there's a couple of unusual player characters this time. We have a tiger and we have a white fox, like a winter type fox. Very interesting to me. They went with something other than standard humans, although the remaining player characters appear to be human. You can see the various zombie types bursting onto the scene on the side there. So lifting this lid, we're going to be met with that's the standard CMON flyer. Get some free content there. You do have a QR code you can use to get online and get some additional scenarios that are playable with this. The White Death rulebook, same art as on the front of the box, but they always do a very nice job with the rulebook. Full color, very heavy duty pages, nice printing. And this also contains the scenarios, they call quests in this, that come with the game. Back is always a really nice reference sheet for game order, what you do during the player phase, zombie phase, end phase, and your targeting priority, which is very important in this game. You have to know what you're shooting at when you're doing range attacks. Below that, we have the box of miniatures. Now notice this is a very nice looking presentation. It looks like a chest. It's got some scratch marks in it. It's got some stains on it. Very cool and very evocative of that. Lifting this out, we take a look below and we're met with the token sheet. Underneath that, there are the 9 double-sided tiles that come with the game. So you can see those real quickly. There's one of the sides of that, and the artwork, very sharp like it always is in these games. They always do a nice job. So taking a look here at the miniatures box, once we open this up, we'll be able to see what's inside of that. I'm going to go ahead and lay it back down in here. And we can see this is a much different layout than usual. Generally speaking, you've got your player characters, which we see here, 6 of them in brown, and those characters are what you can choose. Other than that, there's usually one of each zombie sculpt on the top tray. So the Necromancer is present like usual, the Abomination is present like usual, but we have 3 runners, and that's it there. In addition, we have the 12 guards, those non-player characters I mentioned earlier, in this top tray. So usually the top tray tells you how to lay out the contents of the bottom tray, not the case this time. So lifting this out of here, we'll find some of our other things that we need to play the game. So you have base markers in 6 colors, corresponding pegs in 6 colors. Those are used with the dashboards to keep track of what skills and abilities you have available. We have a set of 6-sided dice to use in the game. Now these are ordinary with just pips. I didn't show it closely before, but the frost dice and the jade dice have a zombie head on the one side to indicate complete failure, and a torch on the 6th side to indicate a great success. Here we have a set of corruption tokens. These are used as the necromancers move across the board. They can mark things that are going on. These appear to be kind of thin, but I believe they've been replaced with plastic tokens. Under that, we have our player characters. There's going to be 6 sheets here, 1 for each. We have 6 dashboards. So you can set up with your player in the middle there. You've got sort of your backpack storage area. You have a body slot. You've got 2 hand slots. So the smaller cards are used to equip those characters as you go. Let's move those out of the way. You have a nice stack of cards here. That's going to include your spawning cards as well as the search cards for equipment. Now down below that, we'll see our final set of miniatures. So taking a look at this, yes, I do see there's 11 more runners down here in the darker gray to differentiate them. So plus the 3 on top is 14. 2 different sculpts for the brutes, 7 of each, that's 14 of them. And then there are 7 different sculpts of the walkers, 5 of each for a total of 35. So we do have our standard build out of what these are and the typical fill for this game. So that is it for the White Death box. I'm going to open up the Timecrash box next. Well, finally, this is the Zombicide Timecrash expansion that contains the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Earlier, I said that this was a full-blown set. I apologize, I was wrong on that. This does not contain the dashboard you need or the majority of the cards you need to play this game. So you do need the White Death core set to play this. Inside the box, of course, we have another nice full-color rule book. There's going to be additional quests in here, plus special rules that apply only to the Turtles. You notice there's some pizza tokens. There's also these tokens which represent a special power, like a chi power, that the Turtles can build as they go. And they have their own set of tiles, but there are only 4 tiles on here. And humorously enough, one of them is a modern-looking pizzeria stuck in the middle of feudal Far Eastern countries. So kind of unusual. Down below that, we have the player characters. There are 7 cards here. There's only a small deck of cards here, so again, you need the bulk of the deck from the main set in order to play this properly. But within this tray, then, you can see there are 4 Turtle player characters. There is Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael, identifiable easily by their weapons. They made them a greenish tone to kind of set them off from the other player characters, Splinter, April O'Neil, and Casey Jones. Those are in the typical brown. Down below, we have Shredder, the Abomination, and we have 15 Foot Clan members, which are the walkers in this set. So there you have the Timecrash expansion box opened up, and that concludes our unboxing of Zombicide White Death and Timecrash. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd appreciate it if you would like and subscribe by hitting those buttons down below, and we will see you again soon here on Building Geek Cred. Thank you.